What's going on, everybody? Tom with CRM Media here, and today I'm going through the entire CRM, basically from top to bottom. I'm going to go through a little bit of everything. So without further ado, this is the CRM Media CRM. So if you don't know, you need to go to www.jargemediacrm.com in order to get to the CRM. So now once you log in with the credentials that either we gave you or that you set up, what's going to happen is you'll be brought to this page here. Now, this is what we call the main dashboard. Before I get too far into the main dashboard, what I do want to talk about is the profile. And let me actually stop my video for a second so I can show you where that is. So up in the top right, you're going to see, if you have not set up a profile picture yet, you're going to see your initials. So click on that and then click on the little profile button there. And I'll turn my video back on. Perfect. Okay, so first things first, we have a couple different things that you can do from the profile. So if, you know, the password that's typically set up is just going to be the phone number that either we have on file for you or that you set up or that you entered in while you were signing up. This is where you can change that password to something a little bit more personal and a little bit more memorable to you. So just put in that new password and then put it in again in the confirm password section to confirm that, or to basically just reiterate it, and then go to the bottom where it says update. My general rule of thumb with any kind of system that's new to you is to oversave as much as possible. And I do speak from experience. I will say that there is really no harm in oversaving, but there can be if you undersave. So oversave as much as possible, especially if this is a new thing to you, especially if you're new to CRMs in general. Just oversaving is going to be fantastic for you. Next thing, we have the virtual number. So the virtual number is a number that the system does generate for you. And this is the number that your leads are going to see if you do any calling or texting from the system. The forwarded number, that's going to be the number that if you get any calls or texts back to that virtual number, that's where those calls and texts are going to get forwarded to, essentially. The receive lead notification by text checkbox. That's going to be for if you have leads coming in from third-party sources, like, for example, Zillow or Realtor or anything like that. Without this checked, what's going to happen is you're always going to get an email notification sent to whatever email address you have in this section here. But if you want to actually have text notifications as well, go ahead and click that checkbox, and you'll also get the same kind of lead information sent to whatever number you have in the forwarded number section. Lastly, and the thing that's kind of super important in here is the time zone and making sure that that is correct. The reason for this is because our drip campaigns base the time off of the time zone. So if that's not filled out correctly, then your drip campaign is going to be completely off. So definitely make sure that that is correct if you're going to be using drip campaigns for sure. Everything else in here at the moment is going to be for your benefit. So I'm going to move on to the main dashboard back there again. All right, so the main dashboard, top left, you're going to see your 10 most recent leads that have hit the system. So this is going to be whether you've added a lead manually, imported a CSV, whether you've had leads coming in from third-party sources. This is going to show you your 10 most recent leads that have hit the system. What's great about this is that you can actually call them, email them, and text them straight from the main dashboard, which is great. So that way you don't have to go through a few different layers in order to get to those most recent leads. You have that kind of instant communication right here. It's also going to show you when they've hit the system, all their information, their source, all that. On the right-hand side, and my video might be blocking it, so let me click off of that again. You're going to see your agenda. So this number right here is going to show you your total appointments, follow-ups, and tasks that you have set up for the day. Appointments, you can set those up a few different ways. This is one of them. So right here in the main dashboard, you've got this little add appointment button. So click on that. You can assign that appointment to a contact, assign that appointment to another agent if you have other agents in your system. Title it, set a location, set a description, set a start and end date, start and end time. And then you can also have a reminder set to go out either via text message or email. Underneath that, you have your follow-up section, and I'll go ahead and turn my video back on. You have your follow-up section. So This is going to be reminder steps from drip campaigns. So our drip campaigns do have start and stop, or I'm sorry, automated steps like emails and text messages that go out without you having to do anything. But our drip campaigns also do have manual steps that you'll need to do manually. That's going to be, hey, call this person and say this. The actual like scripts are built in, and I'm going to get there in a little bit. And then also, hey, shoot this person a social media message, all that kind of things. That's all going to show up in the follow-up section. And I will absolutely be going over drip campaigns a little bit more in depth in a little bit. Stay tuned. The task sections, this is kind of like follow-ups, except this is going to be things that you would manually set up. So click on add a task. So name it, set a description, much like the appointment section. You can assign this to a contact, assign it to a different agent, set a start date. You can also have a reminder set to go out via text message or email. This is where it kind of differs from that. Your task can be a call, an email, a video, a text, a follow-up, not to be confused with the follow-up section, and then other. And if this is a recurring thing, so if you know that you have like a weekly call with somebody, or if you want to set up, like a yearly reminder, that's something you can do as well. And that is tasks. On the left-hand side, you have your goal chart. So the goal is actually something that you're going to want to set up in your CRM settings, and I will get there. But essentially what this does is it tracks your commissions. So as you start closing out your leads, anything that you put in the commission pop-up is going to show up in the actual bar. The pace is generated by the system. That's going to show you what you're on pace to do against your goal. And then the red bar is, of course, your goal. One thing we added was this little commission button here, and that's going to break down your transactions and it's also going to show them from newest to oldest. So that's broken down by first name, last name, the amount of that transaction, or the commission that you made off of that transaction, the date, and then also it's going to break it down by lead ID, just in case you have more than one lead with the same name that you've closed. That's going to show there. So just to make sure that this report is as accurate as possible. Going down here, speaking of reports, we have a few different reports for you. So you've got your top sources, your total leads, your top cities, and then also down here we have where your leads are in the pipeline. So we've got active clients, under contract, and closed. And then we also have 4 other pipelines, which are attempted contact, appointment set, appointment kept, and appointment not kept. This report right here is actually going to be great to see the quality of the appointments that you're setting up. So you can actually see, all right, great, this is how many appointments I've set up. This is how many kept them, and this is how many didn't. So that's just kind of a good thing to kind of keep track of. And speaking of keeping track, these are actually savable and printable. So if you want to keep track of this stuff from like quarter to quarter, or maybe month to month, that's absolutely something you can do through the system. That is the main dashboard in a nutshell. So I'm going to move on to the leads dashboard. So we have a bunch of different filters that you can use to search your leads, and we're actually kind of proud of it. We even have it down to the notes section. So anything in your notes are absolutely searchable. Now, something I always do like to take a little bit of time to explain is the difference between the save and search button and the regular search button. So the save and search button is actually a feature that we kind of had, it was requested by one of our brokerages. Basically what was happening was, they had access to thousands of leads, and they only really wanted to see things that they were assigned to. So what they did is, what you can do is click on your name in the assigned to filter and click on the save and search. And that's going to bring that number for my system to 244 or something like that to 155. So this is what my leads dashboard looks by default at this point. Until I click that clear button. So, if I log out, log back in, if I change the pages or anything, this is what my leads dashboard is going to look like. It's only going to show me the leads that are assigned to me. Now, with that being said, you can kind of save and search pretty much any filter. That was just an example. But with that, I have gotten a few kind of frantic emails and text, or not text, but calls saying, oh my gosh, all my leads are gone. And what ended up happening was, and I'll kind of go through this with you. So if you save a bunch of different filters here, so let's go with dogs, on the drip campaign, let's go with last touch. Let's just do a whole bunch of different filters here, and let's just do the save and search. So as you can see, that zeroed out my leads. Now, if I did not know the difference between the save and search button and the regular search button, that'd be a little bit concerning. It would be, oh my gosh, all my leads are gone. But normally what happens is, if I do get that email or if I do get that call, I normally see something that looks like this. I usually see maybe like 50 different filters up here. So no worries. What you need to do is just click that clear button, and that brings you right back to all the leads in your system. So if you're just doing a basic search, like, oh, let me search by a tag really quick and do that. That's what I'm going to use that search button for. The save and search button is basically changing the way my leads dashboard looks by default. That's the difference between those two buttons. Up at the top, and I think I may need to stop my video again, you're able to add a lead, export your leads, and import your leads. So that's there for you. When you're doing an import, make sure that your file is in the CSV format. We actually do have a video on formatting your CSVs for import into the CRM. That's actually on our help forum. That's at help.georgiamedia.com. Check that out. That's a pretty helpful one. So essentially what will happen is if you're going from one CRM to another, they like to make it a little bit more of an involved process because they don't really want you to go, understandably. So what we did is we shot a video that basically kind of went through the format that's easiest to import into our system. And it kind of walks you through that. I think it's about like a 15-minute video. So it goes kind of in depth. Check that out if you have any CSVs that you need to import for sure. Down here, we've got a few different categories for your, I don't want to say categories, but a few different, sections here. So we've got your all leads, your new leads, your hot leads, your active clients, your under contract, and your closed leads. So all leads, that's going to show you all of your leads, categorized by first name A to Z. And that's something you can change if you want to. So click on the little arrow next to the name. And you can change that to, first name Z to A, last name A to Z, etc. Your new leads are going to show you all of your leads categorized by newest to oldest. Your hot leads are going to show you your leads that are that have a lead score of over 75, and the lead score is just based on their time frame. So if they're ready to go in like 0 to 31 days, that's absolutely going to positively affect the lead score for sure. Any communication back and forth, that's all going to affect that. Your active clients, your under contract, and your closed leads, those are all based on the pipeline. And I've been talking about that a little bit. So let me actually go into a lead profile to sort of show you what I'm talking about. That I mentioned it in the last section on the main dashboard, and then also here as well. So let me go into that lead profile for you. So in the lead profile, you're going to see pretty much everything that has to do with this lead. So you're going to see their name, their lead ID number, that lead score that I was talking about a couple minutes ago. When they're no longer part of the 10 most recent leads that have hit your system right there on the main dashboard, this is where you're going to go if you want to get in touch with them through the system. So you can call them, send them a text, and send them an email straight from the CRM right here in the lead profile. Underneath that, we have who the lead is assigned to. So what agent or what user that this lead is assigned to. You can change that if you'd like to. So go to the add button and you can select who this lead is assigned to. You can reroute the lead, which will basically reassign that lead based on any lead routing rules that you have set up in your system. Locking, so you can lock leads, which basically it basically gives anybody who has the permission to lock and unlock leads the ability to delete or export those leads. But anybody who doesn't have the ability to lock or unlock a lead cannot export or delete locked leads. So think about those kind of like company leads. If you're a broker, that's something that you can use there to kind of keep the company leads within the company. And then, of course, you can delete a lead straight from the contact record. Underneath that, we've got the pipeline that I've been talking about. So each contact or each lead will start off at the potential prospect pipeline stage and go all the way to closed. So if you want the reports that was showing you on the main dashboard and the categories on the leads dashboard to be as accurate as possible, you are going to want to make sure that as you go through the transaction that you keep this up to date. So all leads start at potential prospects. So if you have a drip campaign going, you can just move that over to attempted contact. They email you back or they call you, text you, whatever back. made contact, that's made contact, etc. So, as you go through it, this is all manual, so you need to make sure that you actually update this. You have your lead details. So if you click on the little edit button or the view all, it's going to show you this right here. It's going to show you all the information that you have for this lead. You can edit this if you want to. You can change anything. You can add numbers, add email addresses, whatever you need to do. Scrolling down a little bit more, you've got your listing info, which looks like this. So you could fill that out if they have any listing info. The buying info as well, that's there for you. It's more of like an inquiry, like what they're looking for. And that's there for you. Scrolling down here, we also have, oh, don't worry about that. That's site activities. That's for our websites. Those will be coming soon. We also have our drip campaigns. So if there was any drip campaigns that were associated with this lead, that would all show up here. I would just be able to click on that, and I can actually manage that drip campaign from the lead profile. I can pause that campaign if I want to. And again, our campaigns do have start and stop parameters, so they should abide by those. But if you want to just pause that manually, this is where you would go to do that. Your follow-ups, your appointments, and your tasks. So those are exactly like they are on the main dashboard, except this is just specific to this lead. So you're not going to be seeing any follow-ups or appointments for any other lead except for this one within the lead profile. All right, scrolling down, we also have the tag section. So you can apply any tags that you have already in your system, or if you want to apply a new tag that isn't in your system, what you can do is click the add button, and you can actually add a tag straight from the lead profile. That's definitely something to keep in mind for sure. On the right-hand side, we have social profiles. So you can upgrade social profiles, this button right here. You can actually automatically populate those social profiles based on whatever email address they have set up in their in the lead profile. So basically what the system will do is it'll search social media platforms for any accounts that were set up with that email address. Unfortunately, with the exception of Facebook and Instagram, they have decided to no longer allow third-party sites like a CRM access to their users' information. It may or may not have something to do with that multi-billion-dollar lawsuit they got slapped with. Who knows? But that doesn't mean you can't still add those manually. So if you click the add button, you can actually add those, the Facebook and Instagram social profiles right here. Now, a question that I usually get asked around this point is, what are the benefits of having social profiles in the lead profile? And the reason for that is we actually do have in some of the drip campaigns that we have available to you, we actually have reminder steps that say, hey, shoot this person a social media message. And it's just way easier to have everything all in one place. So that we just go, all right, I'm going to go to that lead profile. I'm going to click on their Facebook page here, and that'll go right to their Facebook page. And I can just, send them a social media a message that way, rather than having to go, all right, let me type in Facebook and, go to their profile and do, it's just way easier. Just click of a button. You're right there. Now you get to send that message. The notes section. So this is where you're going to add any notes. This is also where you're going to add documents. The benefit of adding documents to the system is that you can actually send those documents right from this section here. We also have a direct integration with DocuSign. So if you have any DocuSign documents that you want to upload, that's also an option for you, and you can send those documents right from the system. This is, again, just a great way to have everything all in one place. So this is where you're going to see your notes. This is also going to be where you see any communication. So any like calling, texting, or emailing that you do from the system, that's actually going to show up in this section here. This right here is going to show you whether they're still subscribed to your emails or not. So all emails from the system come with an option that to unsubscribe from your emails. So this will show you that. Separately, if they say, okay, just please stop emailing me, you can actually do that yourself. Click on that, and you will see that is now unsubscribed. But if they say, oh my goodness, I just accidentally removed myself or unsubscribed myself from your emails, can you please resubscribe me? Yes, absolutely I can. Click on that, and now they are resubscribed right there. So I kind of showed you how to do some stuff on a kind of like a microscopic, like on a one-on-one basis. Now I'm gonna show you how to do some things at mass. So right now I just did a basic search for like anybody on the dogs tag. That's showing me 5 leads. So if I want to select all those leads, what I would do is just click on this little checkbox. If there were more than 5 leads, let's just say there were like 100 leads, you'll notice that there's this little hyperlink that says select all 5 leads in this search. what you'd want to do is make sure that all the leads are selected. So that's how you kind of see what leads are selected. So right now I have 5, but for example, if I had like 100, this would probably just say 25 leads are selected. You will want to make sure that you click on this little hyperlink here, just to make sure that you actually do select all of those leads. Click the apply button, and from here you can do a bunch of things. So you can add or remove tags, you can add or remove drip campaigns, you can send out emails. So now with emails, we do have an email limit in place of 350 per day per user. And that's just because email servers do have a nasty habit of shutting down email addresses if they notice that you're doing a lot of emailing through a third-party system like a CRM. So this is the measure that we took in order to kind of avoid that from happening, because we don't really want that to happen. Send out text messages, and that's based on what plan you have. Mailing labels, and that's the format for that is Avery 5160. You can delete leads, you can lock and unlock leads. I was talking about that in the in the lead profile. Mass assign and unassign an agent, and then you can also add or remove birthday and anniversary notifications. One thing I didn't talk about is actually in the lead profile, and something that I made like a mental note that I needed to cover was adding an appointment. Where is it? There it is. Adding an appointment in. So this is the second way that you can add an appointment, at least in my opinion. Click the add button. It's going to look pretty much exactly like it does on the main dashboard, except it's already going to populate the lead. So now you can assign this appointment to this lead. So that's the second way to add an appointment. And that is pretty much everything within the leads dashboard. So now I'm going to move on to the marketing tab. And first things first, we have our drip campaigns. So as I may have mentioned, we do have drip campaigns that are available to you for import. If you have not imported any of those drip campaigns over, your system will basically be a mirror image of mine. So you'll want to go into the import drip campaign section there. What you'll see here is you should see a bunch of drip campaigns that look like this with a little checkbox. Click on that checkbox and then click import from Georgia Media. One thing to note about these drip campaigns is that Jared wrote these drip campaigns out. We in the client success department did not write these drip campaigns out because you would most likely lose business and we would lose our jobs, probably. So once you have those drip campaigns imported, they'll show up in the My Campaigns section. And all of our campaigns do come over as inactive because we want our users to kind of take a look at these campaigns, making sure they're starting and stopping the way you want them to, making sure that all the steps look right. So how to get to that point? You'd want to go to the edit screen. Couple different ways you can do that. So you can click on either the box here, or you can click on the little pencil button there. I personally like to just click on the the box with the numbers in it, just because it's a little bit easier. I don't know, that's just my personal preference. It's I'm kind of sporadic with my mouse, so I click on the numbers. So first things first, you're able to edit the kind of basic stuff. So like the name, whether it's active or inactive, the description, the start and stop parameters. And this is where I always like to take a little bit to kind of explain, especially the start parameters. So I'm in the Zillow buyer lead follow-up campaign, and you can start a campaign by a pipeline stage or a tag or a source. It cannot be more than one of those things. And right now it's set to start by the source Zillow. Okay, cool. Well, let's break this down a little bit. You can also start a campaign by moving the lead to a pipeline stage. So if you remember in the lead contact record, each lead has a pipeline. So it starts at potential prospect and it goes all the way to closed. With a campaign that's specific to a source or something like that, for example, Zillow, the Zillow buyer lead follow-up. With that one, I would not recommend starting a campaign by a pipeline stage, solely because, like I said, every single lead in your system has a pipeline. So for example, if I start this campaign by moving a lead to the pipeline stage, made contact. Let's say I have an open house lead and I move that lead to the pipeline stage, made contact. Here's what's going to happen. This campaign is going to, so the system's going to recognize that, oh my gosh, this lead is now on the made contact pipeline stage, and I need to attach this drip campaign. Here's what's going to happen. So first of all, you're going to get a reminder step that says intro phone call, but also this email is going to go out, and this is an automated step. So this is going to go out without you having to do anything. And let's see what that looks like. It's going to say, hi, lead first name. My name is so-and-so, and I got your request to get more information on the property you asked about. And I want to get it over to you ASAP. Is there a number that works best for you? Where can I reach you right now, either by phone or text? And they're going to be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Please stop emailing me. I don't know who you are. I don't know what's going on. Just this is enough. So to avoid that, I would recommend starting this campaign by either a tag or a source. And the difference between those two really kind of depends on, how hands-off you want to be. So for example, if you start this campaign by the source, Zillow, what's going to happen is, as long as you have it set up, your Zillow leads are going to come right into the system, sourced as Zillow. And once that happens, that's when the system is going to recognize that this is a Zillow lead. And it's going to say, okay, cool, got to attach this campaign. That's going to attach automatically. And then it's just going to start running. So this is more of like a hands-off thing. If you want to start this campaign by a tag, first of all, you're going to need to create a tag that says something like Zillow buyer campaign start tag. And what's going to need to happen is you're going to have to go into either the lead's contact record or the lead's dashboard, and you're going to have to say, okay, apply this tag to this person, and then the campaign is going to attach. So it really does kind of depend on how hands-off you want to be with your drip campaigns between starting a campaign by a source or a tag. And that's not to say that starting a campaign by a pipeline stage doesn't have its place at all in any of our campaigns. We do have one that's maybe like a past client follow-up that maybe you want to start by the pipeline stage closed, and that's totally fine. But I'm just saying with specific things like Zillow or online buyer lead follow-up or open house prospect follow-up, things that are like specific to one thing, would not recommend starting it by a pipeline stage for sure. Stopping a campaign is not something that I spend as much time on. So you can stop it by a pipeline stage or a tag. I personally use our drip campaigns, and I use them. I've stopped campaign by the pipeline stage. I usually do appointment set. That's just me. You can use, I'm just saying that, stopping a campaign by a pipeline stage is a little bit less, a lot less can go wrong. I'll say that. So now down here, we have the different steps that this campaign has. So if you remember, if you took a look, this campaign has 50 steps. This is where you can kind of go through all of them if you want to sort of see what those look like. So anything with this little phone icon or this thumbtack icon, those are going to be those reminder steps I was talking about on the main dashboard. And those are the steps that are going to show up on the follow-up section. And like I said, they actually do have scripts in them. So what you can do is click on that follow-up, and it's actually going to show you what you should say. So for example, this is a call. So this is going to show you, what you should say to this lead, right? And then we also have shoot a video that also has scripts built into it. And it looks like that. Now with those automated steps, so this is an email. These right here are going to be text messages. So what you can do is click on the little pencil button, and this is what that email step is going to look like. And this is actually what we call a merge field. What this is going to do is it's going to pull that information from the lead contact record. So it's not just going to say, hi, lead first name, unless, oh, no. I was going to say, unless they don't have a name. But with that, if they don't have a name, it's just going to say, hi there. So that's something to keep in mind. It's never just going to say, hi, lead first name. So there you go. And then agent signature, that's also there for you. So you can actually add those in manually. Or what you can do is there's actually an option in the email signature section where you can add the signature to all outgoing emails. And I'm going to get to that a little bit later, but basically just giving you your options here. So now what you can do is you can actually change this email step to either maybe like a reminder, a text, whatever you want to do. You can also change when this email step goes out. So for example, this is set to go out by or after 0 days, which basically means that as soon as the campaign attaches, it's just going to go. So you can change that to go out after 1 day at 12 p.m., something like that. If you put in 0 days, you cannot at a time. It's just going to go as soon as that campaign attaches. So that is there for you. Oh, we also have the option to, let me go back to a step. We also have the ability to have a campaign step set to go out on a specific date. With that, I really recommend that for like, like a holiday campaign, or if you're running some kind of promotion or something. That's really, I really recommend those, steps going out on a specific date. But other than that, I would just use the after a certain amount of days option. All right. Going back to all campaigns, now we have some actions that you can do. So if you have more than one user in your system, what you can do is you can share campaigns between you guys. So you can, you can select specific users that you can share this to. This button right here is going to share it to all the users in your system. This is going to copy the campaign. So if you click copy, so it's going to ask, are you sure you want to copy? And then if you say yes, go all the way to the bottom and you're going to see something that says Zillow buyer lead follow-up copy. Okay, so let's just say, for example, you love this campaign and you love that it's working on Zillow, but now maybe you want to use it for a different source. Basically, you want the same campaign going on a different source. This is a 50-step drip campaign and you don't want to recreate 50 steps. That would be tedious, to say the least. So scroll all the way to the bottom, and now that is a new campaign. So now what I can do is I can go into the edit screen for this campaign, and anything that I do on this campaign, this copied campaign, is not going to change anything that that is on the campaign that I copied. This is now its own separate campaign. So I could change this from the source Zillow to, let's say, realtor.com. Why not? Or something else if I want to. But and then I can change this to say realtor.com buyer lead follow-up, not copy. And then I could, if I wanted to change any of the verbiage, I could do that as well. Going back, so you can copy. This is where you're going to see if the campaigns are active or inactive. So if they're inactive, it's going to look like that. If they're active, it's going to look like that. You can edit them like that, or just going by clicking on the box. And then you can also delete. So that's pretty much drip campaigns in a nutshell. Oh, of course, I think I might need to stop my video again. Okay. So if you want a campaign that you're not seeing in our drip campaigns section, what you can do is actually add your own campaigns. And this is how you do that. Go to the top right where it says add new campaign. And you just need to fill out the basic stuff like name, description, start and stop parameters. Once you do that, click save, and then you can start adding steps. And let's get my video back. Cool. Alrighty. So that's drip campaigns in a nutshell. I'm going to move on to newsletters and marketing letters, and they work exactly the same as each other. So we don't have any newsletters or marketing letters available for import at the moment, but what you can do is, stop video again, click on create newsletter, or if you're in the marketing letter section, create marketing letter. And you have a couple different options. So what you can do is click on choose file. And that should pull up your files here from your computer. Click whatever one you need to upload, and then click upload, and that should show up exactly like it does in your files. Now, we also have the ability to paste in source code, so if you have marketing letters or newsletters in a different system, what you can do is actually, if they allow you to, copy that source code, click on the code view button, and then paste that source code in here, then click off of it, and it should look exactly like it does in that other system. Again, this is just a great way to have everything all in one place. And then lastly, of course, you just type out whatever you need, format it, all that stuff. That's an option as well. Going to marketing letters, like I said, it's the exact same thing. One thing I didn't talk about though, because I didn't have any newsletters in my system, but I do have a test marketing letter, is I can share this to specific users. I can share it to all users in my system. I can print it. So if I want to send this marketing letter offline, that's something I can do. I can edit that marketing letter. I could send that marketing letter out manually through an email. I can delete that marketing letter, or I can also copy it. And then, of course, again, create marketing letter. You have like the same kind of options. So you have choose file, code view, and then just, of course, typing it out. Alrighty, going on to the tag section. So this is where you can kind of see what tags you have in your system. You can edit those tags if you'd like to. You can share those tags to specific users or all users. You can edit that tag. Oh, let me turn my video back on. There we go. You can edit that tag. You can delete that tag. You can also, oh, shoot, I shouldn't have done that yet. And then you can also create a tag up at the top right. So you can add a name. You can assign it to a group if you want to. That's not required at all. And then you can also color code them. I have also been asked, what are the, what's the pros of color coding your tags? So if you remember, you can actually start and stop, and this is just one example. You can start and stop your drip campaigns by a tag. So typically, what I've done is I've color coded my start tags as green and my stop tags as red. So that's just one thing you can do. You can also just kind of have, group your tags together by color. So, okay, these are my whatever tags, and these are blue, and these are my other whatever tags, and they're green, that kind of thing. Basically, it could just be a way to categorize your categories or your tags. Yeah. One thing I will say about tags is that if you do have any CSVs that you're importing and that have tags in them, as long as you map them over correctly, those tags should come right over into the system. Now, the next section where we're talking about lead sources, those do not come over automatically. So if you are doing a CSV import, you are definitely going to want to make sure that you actually add the sources in prior to your import. And the reason for this is because the system actually generates unique source email addresses, for each individual lead source. So if the system was generating these lead sources in an import, that would take forever. So what you'll need to do is, if you want to create any lead sources, go up to the top right where it says add source, put in the name, and you actually have the ability to either turn off text or email or both notifications, which I don't know that I would recommend that unless you anticipated either getting like a lead every 2 minutes, or if you already get email notifications or text notifications from the actual source itself, you could, that could be an argument. It can be made that you can turn off the notifications for that. But for me, I would just leave them on. In fact, I do. We have, we have leads coming in from a few different places, and we actually leave our notifications on. So definitely an option for you. Yeah, the system does come stock with 5 lead sources, and that's Open House, Charging Media, Listings to Leads, Zillow, and Realtor.com. So if you have accounts with any of these places, what you can do is just copy the source email address and then paste it into the settings of wherever you're going. I think for Realtor, I believe it's like email notifications or something like that. Don't quote me on anything I'm saying here. Zillow, I believe it's like email forwarding, I think, or lead forwarding. It's one of the two. I don't really remember. And some of these places actually allow you to put in more than one email address. So you can have your personal email or your business email address, and then also the Jarja email address. And this is basically just this is how you're going to set up leads coming in from different, or from, specific sources. So the way that we do lead sourcing, or, integrations with other places as far as like lead sources go, are through email notifications. So that's why this system generates source email addresses per source, because that's what you can do. So you can either use these source email addresses or not. And the reason I say that is because you're going to have sources, or you may have sources like referral or walk-in or something like that, that obviously aren't third-party websites. You're not going to, copy the source email address and paste it into some website. It's just not it. What you'll want to do with those, so for example, I've got my referral. I can actually, if I'm adding a lead manually, what I can do is go to the source dropdown, and I can just click on referral. And now I know that this is a referral lead. So that is also there for you. That's everything in the marketing tab. I'm going to move on to the calendar, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's just, so we have a direct integration with Google Calendar. So all of your Google appointments should be in here, as long as you have a calendar set up. So now we also have the, so like your yellow appointments, those are going to be the appointments that you set up in Jarja, and these are going to be your Google tags, or I'm sorry, your Google appointments, I should say. So that is there for you. Moving on to properties. So we do have a couple pros of having properties in your system. One would be you can actually use the properties in here to connect to leads. So for example, if you have properties in here and you go into a leads contact record and you start typing out one of those properties in the listing info section, what's going to happen is the system's going to recognize that that is a property in your system already. And it's actually going to automatically populate all that information, so that way you don't have to write it out. So it's a pretty good convenience thing. The other thing is actually creating open house sign-ins. So we have an open house sign-in that's built into the system, which is great. Yeah. So what you can do is so instead of having like an open house sign-in sheet or, an open house sign-in through like a third-party site, where you have to like export those leads and then re-import them into your CRM. This is built right in. So any lead that fills out your form goes right into the system already, which is huge. Saves a lot of time. So how to do that, you'd want to just click on the little open house checkbox. And because I already had one there, I unchecked it and then I rechecked it. So now what I can do is let's set one up for November 15th at 12:32 p.m. Very specific. What was this? 11:15, and we'll change that time to, let's say, 3:32 p.m. Save. Okay, so now what I need to do is go into my upcoming open houses. And where was that one? Okay, so that's my 11:15. Click on that. And now this is bringing me to my open house sign in. So what I will do here is I will fill out this form for you here, just to give you like a quick kind of overview of what that looks like. So go with Tom, CRM, sure. Tom at CRM.com. Next. And the phone number is Oh, that's the first time that's happened. Cool. I've done a lot of demos, so I kind of have to keep this fresh. So those first three questions are required. At this point, they either have, or they have the option to continue filling out your form, skipping a question, or just saying, I really just want to look around. I don't really want to fill out any more information, which is what it is, happens. But ideally, what you'd like is for your leads to be filling out the entire form. So I will do that as well. So let's go with 0 to 31 days. I'm in a hurry. I have been pre-approved and I'm ready to go in 0 to 31 days. How much do you want to pay for a house? Ideally, nothing, right? That's, but not how it works. So we'll go with that range there. Next. Do you have a house to sell? No, I don't. Next. And do you have anyone sending you good deals, which is just a fun way of asking, are you working with someone already? To which the answer should, knock on wood, be no. Submit. And it's going to say thank you at some point. There we go. And then click return, and that's going to go right back. Well, it should have gone right back to the that first page there. I don't know, I must have clicked something. So let's just fast forward. Let's say, all right, cool. I'm done with that open house. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go either back to my main dashboard or my leads dashboard. All righty. So you'll notice that the lead is there with a lead score of 82, and that's solely pretty much based on the time frame. The time frame is a big factor of this this lead score here. It's got the email address, my phone number, or the lead's phone number, I should say, the source open house. But now here's a really cool thing. Not only is it sourced as open house, if I go down to the notes section, it's also going to show me the open house that they attended, which is huge for people like me with terrible memory. I'm never going to remember what open house they came to, especially if I'm doing a lot of them. The system kind of, takes that off of your plate a little bit. So that is there for you, which is, like I said, awesome. Your email. So we have pretty much a basic integration with an email. It's pretty simple. So anything that, if you have an email address set up or connected to the system, what's going to happen is anything that's in your inbox will show up here. Anything in the sent folder is going to show you emails that have been sent from the system. So click compose. That's a pretty good way to send out an email. Of course, you can also send out an email from the main dashboard to those 10 most recent leads, or through the leads contact record to that specific lead, through the leads dashboard at mass. A few different ways. This we have a couple different options to send out mass emailing from the inbox section or the compose section. So you can send out a mass email to anybody on tags, anybody on a pipeline stage. If you have more than one email address connected to the system, you can actually pick and choose which email address you want to send it from. You can write out who this email is going to, and it doesn't have to be a lead or an email address that is in the system already, you can actually send this out to whoever. CC, put in a subject, use an email template, which I use a whole bunch and have found them super helpful, because I found myself using, or sending out a lot of the same email, like a lot. So email templates, I've actually covered this on a couple sessions that I did at the 2020 Jared James Advance. Yeah, that was email templates I use them like every day. I love them. Can't get enough of them. I'm a huge advocate for email templates for sure. And then of course you can just write out the email. You can use the merge fields to make it a little bit more personal, especially if you're doing a mass email. Those merge fields are definitely there for that. Going on to the email template section, which I was talking about, that's where you'd set them up. So you go to add email template there. You can add any templates that you need. Then also your email signature section. That's kind of what I was talking about a little bit earlier in the drip campaigns. So this is where you'd set up that email signature. And then you can actually click that little checkbox that says add to all outgoing emails. So what that's going to do is it's going to automatically apply that that signature to any emails that you send from the system, any drip campaign emails, anything. Student dashboard is actually for our one-on-one students. So this is going to be a great tool between our students and our coaches. So if you're in one-on-one coaching, then you may be familiar with this. If you're not, you probably won't be familiar with this. So basically, this is a great way to kind of, keep track of your goals for you and your coach. So your coach is going to keep track of your goals as well through here. You're going to be assigned homework through here. There's like a whole point system. You can schedule coaching calls, and also this report here, commissions by source. That is there for you as well. Moving on to the CRM settings. So now, depending on your role, whatever role you're set up with, this may look a little bit different depending on what you're set up with. This demo is being shown to you using a manager account. So I have access to everything that the system has to offer. If you're an agent, if you have the agent role, I believe you're just seeing integrations down. So you're not going to be seeing registration, lead distribution through lead routing. You're just going to be seeing integrations down. That's just based on those permissions. Not totally sure about the other roles, but I do know about those two. Okay, so registration and lead distribution, whoopsies. This is going to dictate how leads are assigned once they have hit the system. So right now, this is set to routing. If you have not changed this, it should default to manual, which basically means that once a lead hits the system, it's going to come in unassigned, and then you need to go in and manually assign that lead to whoever it needs to be assigned to. Routing abides by lead routing rules that you set up, and I'm going to get there in a quick second. And then round robin is going to assign basically based on who's next in line. Agents. So this is where you can add any agents. So here, let me stop my video. This is where you'd add agents. You can import in agents, and then you can also export agents. So if you need to add an agent, it looks like this. So you can fill out all that information. If you are adding agents in, one thing I would recommend, unless for some reason you don't want to make them active, make them active. Otherwise, they may not get the welcome email from us with all their user login. Turning leads off, that checkbox is going to literally, they're not going to be able to accept leads, if they're going through like a lead routing rule or have leads assigned to them. So their ability to have leads assigned to them is going to be turned off. So if that's something that you want to do, that's what that checkbox is for. But if it's just, a basic setup, I would just check the checkbox for active and not the checkbox for turn leads off. All right, start the video again. All righty, going on to roles, which I was talking about a little bit earlier. This is where you can kind of see what permissions each role has. So the manager role should have permissions of everything. And then everything after that is pretty much based on, what permissions they actually have checked. That's something that you can change if you'd like to, and this is where you do that. Manage team members. So this is going to be once you get, some leads on or some agents with you, and they're going to start, making teams underneath your umbrella. So what you'd want to do is select a team lead. So Tom with Jargon Media's got a team with Red, Ryan, Guy, me and myself. And now let's, I wants to, hop on board there. So we'll click on the add remove. That's now that office or that team. And it's called the Northeast office. I can change that if I want to. That was a name that actually I picked out. So if I want to change that, I can totally do that if I want to, but I'll leave it as it is. Lead routing. So click on so if you don't have any lead routing rules set up, what you'll want to do is, that might be hidden. Select the add lead routing button, and I'll turn my video back on here. So you can name it. If your forms have a price min and price max section, put those in. If not, don't worry about it. The only things that are actually required in this thing are name, source, acceptance time, and team members. That's it. So if your page or your forms, your lead forms don't have a price min, price max, city, zip code, all that stuff, don't worry about it. All you need to really fill out is name, source, your acceptance time, and the team members. So for example, let's just do Zillow. Oh, there we go. Let's go with Zillow Tom. And we're going to do the source Zillow, and we're going to have the team member me, right? So let's say I want all Zillow leads to be assigned to me. This is how I'm going to set that up. So I'm going to name it. I'm going to set the source to be Zillow. So whenever a lead from Zillow comes in, it's going to abide by this lead routing rule. I've set the acceptance time to be 0, which is basically means that the system is not giving me any time to accept a lead. It's just going to assign to me. And then the team members are just me. So it's only going to me, not anybody else. So now let's just say, Zillow, and I want to have this go by, Tom Charge Media, me, myself, and I. So now if I keep the acceptance time at 0, what's going to happen is it's just going to basically work like round robin, except in lead routing. So it'll assign to me and the next person and the next person. And I should say the first lead is going to assign to me. The next lead is going to assign to the next person. The next lead is going to assign to the next person, and so on. You get it. Now let's say I want to give them like 5 minutes to accept the leads. So now what's going to happen is lead comes in from Zillow. It's going to give me 5 minutes to accept it, or whoever it's going to first. Then the next person 5 minutes to accept it if I don't accept it first, and the next person to accept it if they don't accept it, etc. And if it goes through all 5 of these team members, first of all, you're going to need to have a conversation, because that's 25 minutes. Nobody's accept the lead. Really? No. But what's going to happen is, from a functionality standpoint, is that basically this lead is going to come or is going to be available at a first come, first serve basis after it goes through everybody. So whoever gets it after that, they got it. If somebody tries to accept a lead that has already been assigned, that's not going to work. It's going to say, unfortunately, this lead has already been assigned. I think it'll literally say, you got to be quicker next time, with a smiley face. Just a fun way to kind of light the fire under them. So now let's just say you like that idea of, the leads becoming available at a first come, first serve basis. Click on that little pool checkbox, and you'll notice that the acceptance time is zeroed out and you cannot edit it anymore. So what's going to happen is this is going to be bursted out at a first come, first serve basis to all 5 of these leads. It's going to say, hey, a new Zillow lead has become available to the first person who accepts it, and they'll get a link to accept that lead. They always will, but with the pool feature, it's going to go out to everybody on this, in this lead routing rule, to the first person who accepts it. And whoever gets it, whoever doesn't, bummer. And that is lead routing. Moving on to integrations. So we have direct integrations with BombBomb, Google Calendar, Dotloop, Happy Grasshopper, Facebook, and DocuSign. Facebook is actually a new feature. We have a direct integration with them. So this is going to be for your lead ads. What you'll need to do, and I actually do have a video on this, but that's there for you. And yeah, you can actually check out that video. We shot that recently, when pretty much as soon as that functionality came to be, as soon as we got word from our developers that it was done, we tested it out, said, all right, works. Let's make a video, and we did. So go check that out on our help forum. Again, that's help.georgiamedia.com. That is there for you. All right, goal chart. This is what I was talking about on the main dashboard. So this is where you're going to set up that goal chart. So click on add goal if you don't have one already. Click on yourself there and then put in the amount that you want your goal to be. And then you can reset the parameters. So right now it's set to go from today's date to today's date next year. I could change this to be, it's going to say from date already taken because I have a couple goals there. But I can change that to be from today's date to the end of the year if I want to. But that's there for you. Contacts, emails, that's for websites. I'm going to kind of go over that. Reports. So this is actually a different report from the ones in the main dashboard, and I'll create a pretty basic one for you now. So I'm gonna pick the agent type or report type, agent level. The agent is myself, and I'm gonna leave the source and the date range open ended because what I want to do is I want to generate a pretty general report, which is it's basically going to generate a report that's based on when from when the account was created to today. So this is showing me that I have had 208 leads assigned to me. My lost and dead leads are 10. My lead loss percentage, my in-process leads, my closed leads, and my closing percentage. So that's showing me how I've been doing. Now, if I scroll down, it's going to show me how my sources are doing too. So same thing, assigned leads, my lost/dead leads, my lead loss percentage, my in-process leads, my closed leads, and my closing percentage. So this is where I can see, okay, these sources are performing greatly for me and these aren't. And it's going to kind of give you a little bit of perspective like, okay, great. This is where I should really be focusing my attention because I'm killing it here. For example, my open houses, I'm doing great with my open houses. Charging media, not so much. But basically those are there for you. Agent unavailability. So if you're a part of a lead routing rule or, you're in a system where you're getting leads assigned to you and you know that you're not available on a specific day during a specific time, what you're going to want to do is set up your agent unavailability, because what's going to happen is if a lead comes in during this time and a lead is about to be assigned to you, the system is going to recognize that you're unavailable and it's going to go to whoever's next in line. Or if you're part of a lead routing rule where there's a pool option, it's just going to skip you. It's going to leave you out completely. The reason being for this, we want users to be contacting these leads as quickly as they can. And if they know that they cannot do that on a specific day during a specific time for whatever reason, that's where that agent unavailability is going to come into play. So definitely making sure that you have this filled out if that's something that applies to you, a little bit key for sure. Now, agent emails. This is where you're going to connect your email address to actually email leads from the system. So up in the profile, you actually saw that there was an email address there. That is not the email address that does not mean that you have an email address connected to the system. That's not necessarily going to be the email address that you use to send out emails. And that definitely doesn't mean that you have one connected. You're going to need to go to this section here in order to connect your email address. So if you don't have any email addresses here, what you'll want to do, whoopsies, is go up to the top right where it says add account, and then select your provider and then go through the motions there. With Gmail, because Gmail's security settings are so strong, which is fantastic, it does make it a little bit of an involved process in order to connect your Gmail account to the system. So we actually do have a step-by-step process here, but we also do have a video on that, again, available at our help forum, help.georgiamedia.com. Should be called something like, I don't know, like how to turn on two-step verification or something like that. Yes, we have found great success in using two-step verification to connect Gmail accounts to the system, and then also using app passwords. So that video is also there for you. If you're like me and you need to see something rather than just reading something, that video is that is exactly what that video is there for. So you'll definitely want to give that a watch if that applies to you. Other than that, I mean, so Yahoo, Outlook, Hotmail, all that stuff, that should be pretty simple. Just putting in your email address, putting in your password, and then clicking test POP account and then save. So once you do test POP account, ideally you'll get a green little success message that says email has been configured success or something like that. And then now if you want to have that email address be active, so that you can actually use it. Do that. If this is going to be your default email address, which basically means that all emails are going to come from that address, definitely click on default. Because that's what that checkbox is there for. And then click save, and then that should be configured there for you, and then you can start sending out emails from the system. Last but not least, if you haven't noticed, so this bar has always followed us no matter where we were in the system. So we can always add a lead. And I think I did that at one point when I was, that might have been like sources or something. I don't know, but that's there for you. So you can always add a lead. You can always create a task. You can always reach out to support, which will go to me and the rest of the client success team. You can always see your tasks. You can always see your appointments. These both are for websites. Don't worry about those yet. And then you can also always search for leads, and that'll bring you right to the leads dashboard. And that is a little bit of everything that the system has to offer. And my video is off, so you can't see me. That is a little bit of everything that the system has to offer. Hopefully you found this helpful. Again, if you have specific questions on anything, a couple things you can do. You can consult our help forum at help.georgiamedia.com, or what you can do is reach out to us in the support team. That'll be support@georgiamedia.com, or if you have the CRM, you can just reach out, or you can click on this little help button, and that's going to say, okay, this is my name, and put in my question there. And then also you can call us at 203-283-4240. That'll go right to us as well. So hopefully you found this helpful. Tom, Georgia Media. Have a good one, guys.